Yeah, we'll maybe chime in on that. But the next one is the Edmonton Oilers, and that is Tyler. So I'll give him the floor.
Yeah, I mean, the first three here are really easy ones. I had to really spend time thinking about whether I should put Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl on my protected list, but no, of course they're there. Ryan Nugent-Hopkins as well, obviously just re-signed the the 8-year deal. Then it got a little more difficult for me, and I have Zach Kassian, Khaira, and Puljujarvi. That one a little more obvious to have on the list. And Khaira Yamamoto. And then for defense, that was, Darnell Nurse is an obvious one. I was kicking it around for a while. The spreadsheet has Oscar Klefbom as a yes here, and I wanted to change my mind on that. I think under normal circumstances, you definitely have Oscar Klefbom on the protected list. When he has played and has been healthy, has been a huge part of Edmonton's defense. But the question going forward is he reliable for any team? So I would actually substitute Ethan Bear instead of Oscar Klefbom and take a chance on that. And then I'm hoping. Well, I think for a lot of Oilers fans, I think they're hoping for Tyson Barrie to be re-signed and be on this protected list as well. And then Mikko Koskinen. I don't know what's going to happen with Mike Smith. I think it's. There's no certainty there that they're going to be able to re-sign Mike Smith or want to re-sign Mike Smith. That's a big question mark. So if he's not re-signed, then Mikko Koskinen has to go on the protected list. So that's my Oilers selection.
And I just want to preface to anybody who's watching who wants to go through this with us, go to capfriendly.com, pick the interactive button, and then go to Seattle Expansion Draft Simulator. So you can kind of follow along what we're doing here. I think that'll be a good little portion for you if you want to follow along. But as far as Tyler's picks go, I don't have too many disagreements within that. I don't know if I would protect Mikko Koskinen. He's a 4.5 cap hit until he has one more year left. Yeah, you could probably swallow that for the next year. He could be a part of the buyout within the next 24 hours. So that could be a possibility, and depends on where you sit on Dylan Wells, Stuart Skinner, within your goalie depth chart, if you will. So that would be kind of my only thing that I could really potentially give Tyler shit about for the Edmonton Oilers. But otherwise, it makes a lot of sense for the majority of those players sticking around. And but as far as Mike Smith goes, I've heard a lot of things, and especially from Kevin Woodley, who's a friend of the podcast. He did say that Edmonton is very high on Mike Smith, and that they like the way that he does play in front of that team. So I'm over 50% sure that they'll probably re-sign him. But yeah, as far as the protection list goes, hey, I have no gripes.
Yeah, I mean, if Mike Smith does get re-signed between now and the actual expansion draft, then obviously he's going to be the one protected and not Koskinen. But if they don't re-sign Smith and you don't protect Koskinen, you lose him. That's now where the Oilers with goaltending, and that's been such a heel for that team over the last number of years. So that's kind of what pushed me in that direction. I just will add one more thing too. It was hard for me to leave Adam Larson and I'm now blanking here. Adam Larson was one that I left. It was Alex. Where is he here? Alex Chase. Those two leaving them exposed was a tough call there. I think that they've been very helpful pieces for the Oilers, but there's only so many that you can put on this list, and I was leaning towards younger guys.
Fair enough. Yep. Can't argue with that. And yeah, in your defense, as far as the goalie situation, I was going to bring up the fact that Oilers were struggling for having a third goalie pretty much most of the regular season. So, yeah.
Do we have a
back?
Hi,
Oh, they've already missed Calgary and Edmonton.
Perfect fucking timing.
Yeah.
So I'll just give my quick Edmonton comment, and then we'll bring Sean in. I wouldn't have protected Kassian. I would have protected Josh Archibald. That's one differ, and I would have protected Alex Stalock over Mikko Koskinen. I don't think that Koskinen would have been I don't think that, like, with the goaltenders out there, I don't think Koskinen is going to be a guy that the Kraken are going to take anyway. But I think of just seeing what's out there, that would have been my only two. But other than that, I don't have a huge issue. It's really the Oilers in terms of, other than the obvious ones, that forward group is they're kind of trapped. But I would have protected Josh Archibald.
I kicked that one around for a bit too.
Yeah. Makes sense.
All right,
Sean.
So Calgary and Edmonton.
Yeah.
Start up with Edmonton.
Yeah, let's get
Edmonton. As Kevin said, like the big guys are the easy ones. The questions I have are Kassian and Puljujarvi. When you've got players like Dominic Cahoon, as well as Josh Archibald, as well as someone an up and comer like a Tyler Benson as well. I think those are three players that I think are ones that I think they're going to be looking at to try and protect. With Koskinen, they want out of that contract as soon as possible as well. So I think he will get exposed by Edmonton in hopes that Seattle takes him, but I don't think they will.
Before you came on, we kind of qualified that, if they re-sign Mike Smith or a goalie of that caliber, then for sure Koskinen's exposed.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then
I just want to, are you going to go for the defense or are you going to Calgary?
The defense. You've got the no-brainer in Nurse, and then I think it's a no-brainer in Ethan Bear. Then after that, it's a bit wide open because you've got Klefbom, but he's injured. I think he's an easy exposed, as well as, and then you've got a bunch of UFAs available. Adam Larson, I think he's going to end up testing. You've got
Kitty.
Tyson Barrie, again, someone who I don't know where he ends up. And then you've got some younger guys with like a Caleb Jones, a William Lagesson. But I think if they do go with, say, what Tyler did with Bear, Nurse, and Barrie, I don't think that's a bad way to go. There's no one that I would be. I would look at that and say it's a big loss for the Oilers. They've got a lot of good defensemen that are exempt from this, with Philip Broberg and Evan Bouchard. Well, not a lot, but two big ones in Philip Broberg and Evan Bouchard that I think are going to be stepping into that top six, if not next year, but really quickly. So, the only one, if I was going to say the only question mark I would have with the three that Tyler protected would be Tyson Barrie, but if he wants to stay, then you protect him.